of the property, whereas single unit rentals, there's implied oversight because there's another activity going on, either a residential, long-term residential use or a commercial use. So I grouped them here. And you can see the percentage change is either, if we use the MCCSD residential data for 2008, we have an increase of residential to visitor serving uses, or it's about the same as it was in 1989, if we use building permits. This is a map demonstrating the distribution of the visitor serving uses. And again, it was recommended by someone recently that perhaps the single unit rentals and the vacation home rentals be separated for the reasons I just mentioned. But for now, they are grouped because the policy applies to them equally. But the yellow is the residential zoning, and you can just kind of see the spatial distribution of where things are. For the most part, they're right in downtown, some in a lot in that little neighborhood over there, and the red is the commercial, and the purple is the mixed-use zoning. This is just the residential zoning. I mean, the green is other, and all the other colors are just the residential zoning. If you are interested in the specific, I guess, neighborhood groupings that the vacation home rentals are. And for the most part, they end up being in the Mendocino town residential region more than anywhere else. Another resting moment. I thought this was really pretty and an interesting, potentially mixed use. I'm not sure. All right. I'd like to talk about the policy language. As I was doing this research, I got a little confused a few times. I found the policy language to be a little confusing with some of these things. So first of all, let's see. For the vacation home rentals and single unit rentals, I found 4 possible interpretations of the limits that were the allowable limits of units. And I'm a pretty intelligent and educated woman, and everyone I've spoke with found that there were, a lot of different possible ways of interpreting the information. So I'm just going to break down all the different thoughts I had on the matter. Either A, the number that is listed in the town plan tables, 4.13-2 and -3, which is the single unit rentals and the vacation home rentals. I just want to make it really clear, we're only talking about vacation home rentals and single unit rentals for this policy discussion. Not inns, bed and breakfasts, anything like that. So these policies only apply to those. So those 2 tables collectively allowed 46 allowable units. Interpretation B is that all the units in operation at the time of certification, including what the map allows for, the town plan allows for mapping error corrections, would be the unit cap. And Linda Roofing's 1999 town plan review came across 53 units that were actually believed to be in operation at the time of certification. So 53 units are allowed. Then there's the 13-to-1 ratio, which can be interpreted in a couple ways. So let's see. So if we have the overall ratio as the unit cap, that basically applies the 13-to-1 ratio to the complete total number of residential units to the total number of vacation home rentals and single unit rentals. Then 31 would be allowed based on the 399 residential unit count, or 29 would be allowed with a 373 residential unit count. Or another interpretation of the 13-to-1 ratio is that only brand new residential units to increased vacation home rentals. So basically saying that the unit cap that was written in the plan, say 46 units, is it. That's the maximum. But for every 13 new residential units, you get to add 1 vacation home rental. So this is only new residential units to 1 vacation home or single unit rental. Okay. And so this interpretation, however, requires that we know that the actual number of units in the beginning, because we need to know how many residential units increased to know how many new vacation home rentals and single unit rentals are allowed. Okay, and this is just to recap all of those different mildly confusing choices, either choosing all the different possible interpretations, either interpretation A that allows 46 units that were listed in the town plan, 53 units, which are the corrected mapping error tables, right? The overall ratio, which would either allow 31 units or 29 units, or the increased residential to new vacation home rentals and single unit rentals ratio, which would would allow either 3 or 1 increased units. And there's a little caveat here. In order to choose interpretation D, an increase in residential units, we also would need to know if we're choosing A or B, because we would need to know